guys, welcome back. This is going to be part 14 of the bubbles cabinet. I'm kind of cramped here. I'm in this little hallway where the Williams games are all on this one wall. Where I had left off last is we had made this harness on the last video, and I had made all the wire colors the correct color for what they're supposed to be by putting this colored shrink tube on the end of the wires. So that makes this, a white and yellow stripe wire. This is a yellow wire. This is an orange wire. This is purple and yellow. So, and so on. This was not in the cabinet on the power brick when I got it. So I need to figure out what wire goes to what part of the power supply, the power brick down there. I have this printout here. This goes on the upper back door. I have this printout that we did, and it shows right here. Let's figure out power input, soundboard, figure out which spot we're looking at here. Okay, power here. This is from transformer right here. So we need to go by the wire colors on this. And it says the black wire is 22.6 volts AC, VAC. And then we're going to go down to pin number 3, which is gray and green. Gray and green right here. This is another 22.6 volts AC. So what I need to do is I need to determine on the transformer which one of these are correct, so that we can solder them to these wires. So I'm gonna have to power on the transformer. I'm gonna unplug the boards. Actually, no, I don't need to unplug the boards because I actually have no power going to the boards right now. So basically I need to just unplug nothing. I can just plug in the gain, and then we can run the multimeter on the transformer down there and figure out which spot does which. I do have another transformer from a Stargate, but I think they might be in a different orientation than what it is on bubbles. I am going to go grab that real quick, put it on the floor over here, and we can kind of go off of that too. Maybe we'll get lucky and it is the same, but I'm not positive. So let me go grab that. I'll try to get the camera in here as best as possible. We're going to be working down there, obviously. Let me go get that other power transformer and we'll look at it. Okay, let me get in here and see if I can not knock the camera over and have enough room for me to work in here. Should have probably moved it out into the open more, but we should be all right. So this is out of my Stargate cabinet. This is the harness, and it looks like the wires match up the same. Now, I don't remember, did I go off of that or not? I don't remember. I might have. But basically, probably gonna be hard to see, but it's because everything's kind of dusty and dirty, but the white, or the gray with white stripe is the first one up here on the, which would be the first one up here. I don't know if you can see in the cabinet or not, but let's see if we can power this on and take some readings of where everything goes. And we'll just see if we are in the right orientation or not. So we have a black wire right here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 over. I'm going to count this as the front. Or let me position it the same direction. Just want to make sure it's going the same way, which it is. Okay, this is the same way that it's sitting in the cabinet right now. This part I have flipped, looks like, or unless maybe I do have it backwards, but that's fine. It's not going to hurt anything. So I know that the 1, 2, 3, fourth one over is a black wire. So let's go on the paper here, and we'll look over the fourth wire. Of course, I forgot where I'm at here. Here we go. So that the black wire is number 1 on the pin, and that should be going to 22.6 volts AC. So let's power this on. We're going to get my multimeter here. We're going to set it to AC voltage. Right now it's on DC. We're gonna go to AC. Take the hold off. Oh. All right. So now I need to power this on. I have the cabinet plugged in. Let's see what happens here. Okay, the light turned on up top. The marquee light's on. So now I need to find a ground, somewhere I can ground this to. Let's just use the ground wire down here. And then we're going to count over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one right here. And I'm getting no reading. Nothing yet. Let me see what I got going on here. Let's see if we have 110 volts going to the plug. And I do not. Okay, the service plug in here is not getting voltage. We're obviously getting AC volts to the light. Am I on AC? I was on DC. My bad. Okay, we're getting 116 volts to the service plug inside. So now let's see, let's count 4 over. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's only reading 5.5 volts. One above it. Just trying to figure out what these are reading. 15.1 volts. See, I know that 4th pin over on this one's reading 5.6 volts. Okay, so that obviously, it might be different than this one. Let's see what we have here. Kind of hard to read this printout. I believe that one says 11.6, negative 11.6, which would be an orange wire. Let's just see if that's where the orange wire is on this one. Second one over from the bottom shows number 14. .6 volts, but I'm gonna say that might be right because the voltages might change a little bit. Keep losing where I'm at. There we go. And that, you know what, that I think that is 14.6. It's hard to say. I'm not positive, but I need to figure this out. See right here, it shows pin number 8 and 9, gray and yellow, gray and white. On this side it's saying 20 volts AC, VAC, and then on this side it's saying 12 volts AC, 27 volts DC, unregulated. So I just don't want to go throwing all the wires on in the same orientation as this one and be wrong and then screw something up because I have the wrong voltages going to the wrong place. So this might take a little bit for me to figure out. Let's just see where the gray and white and gray and yellow go to next. Those go on the top. Gray and white's the first one, gray and yellow is the second one on the Stargate power brick. 35.36 volts on the first one, 15.7 on the second one, third one 0.4, nothing on the third one. That looks like it had a green wire at one point, and so does this one. Fourth one is 5.8 volts. Fifth one is basically reading 0. The sixth one is reading 2.6. And then we have a couple on the bottom here. First one, $9.9, and that is a purple and yellow wire. I might have to go to the computer and look up and see if I can figure this out. Purple and yellow. Okay, violet and yellow right here. 11.6 volts. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go on the computer real quick. I'm going to look up a Stargate and see if it's the same wiring as the bubbles. So that would probably be the easiest way to go. I'll look up the Stargate right here and see if it's exactly the same or not. So I'm going to go do that real quick. Then we'll come back and see if we can figure it out. Okay, they look to be the same. So I might have just went off of that before because I might have already checked it. I'm not sure. It's been a month and a half, 2 months from now ago, so I don't remember. So what I'm going to do now is, I think what we'll do is I'm going to go ahead and solder these on to the transformer down here. Okay, and then what we can do is plug this in to the power supply board, and then I can unplug these boards over here, and we can check voltages at these pins here and see if they're corresponding to that paper, to see if we have the same voltages running through before we plug these boards in. So I'll unplug all these. First I'm going to solder these in, exact same orientation as what's down there, and then we'll plug it in and we'll do a meter reading and we'll see what we come up with. So I'll be back in a little bit once I get all these soldered on. Okay, I got all those soldered on. Let's check voltages now. We're going to power it up for the first time. Got my paper here, and we're going to check our voltages on these wires right here. So let's see what we have. It's like pin number 1 is orange, which says -5 volts DC. So let's power this on. Okay, our lights are on our power supply, which is good. Let's get the multimeter here. So we're looking for -5 volts on the orange line. -4.9, so that's good. Let's go down to these gray ones. There's a bunch of gray ones on the end here. Those are +5. 5.4, that's good. Nothing's plugged in over here. I unplugged all the power going to these other boards. The blacks are ground. Number 12 volts is gray and white, should be 12 volts DC. And then gray and green is 12 volts, -12 volts. And then gray and yellow is 12 volts positive. So let's do the gray and yellow. This should be 12 volts, 11.9. Let's go over to the gray and whites, 12.6. And then we have one more here, gray and green should be, looks like, I believe that's -12, gray and green. If I can find it. Gray and green, where are you at? Can't tell which one it is on here. It's green. Negative 13.9. So we should be good there, because we have no draw from these boards plugged in yet. So let's turn off the power. We'll plug in the boards and see what happens. After that, we can bring the monitor over here and see what the monitor does, if anything comes up on the monitor. I don't know if the monitor needs to be rebuilt or not yet. It did work in this cabinet when I got the cabinet. Didn't look like the greatest picture, but that could have been the game itself that was in here. I'm not sure. I forget what game was in here. But those are all plugged in. Let's plug in these. Back in over here. So now everything should be plugged in. Just gonna double check. I believe everything's plugged in. So now we can turn it back on. Just make sure nothing's doing anything weird. No fuses are blowing or anything like that. Don't see anything smoking. All right, I'm gonna go get the monitor. Well, let's check to make sure. Oh, okay, we have a LED light on the ROM board. It's flashing 11L or 7117. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think it's supposed to be 0 if nothing's wrong. There might be something wrong. These boards I bought supposedly working. Obviously, I've never tested them, so I don't know for sure. But let's just go get the monitor and we'll just see what it does. So let me go grab that. Okay, let me get the monitor plugged in. We'll turn it on and see if it does anything. Okay. All right, let's see if anything happens here. Like I said, I obviously haven't tested this. I know nothing about it. No voltage on the monitor. Okay, I'm not getting any voltage to the monitor, I don't think. Let me unplug the monitor and check the voltage going to it. Oh, you know what? There's a switch up here, a power switch. Okay, that turns it off. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Okay, we're not getting anything on the monitor. Check to make sure we're getting AC. Switch this to AC. Power it back on. Yep, we have 124 volts, so the monitor should be turning on. So the monitor is not turning on. And I know why. I never hooked the anode cup up. So hopefully there's no voltage there, which there's not. Okay. Hopefully I didn't screw something up. Okay. Let's retry that. All right, let's try it again. There, I think I heard it turn on. Yep, okay. Let's see if anything happens here. Okay, I got a rug pattern. That's a good sign. But that might be the only thing it does, because it is flashing 117. Might have to look that up, see why it's doing that. Could be one of the ROM chips that are bad. Not sure. Just try to go around here and just lightly push on them just to make sure. Okay, clearly we have some sort of an issue. So let me do some researching and I'll come back. Okay, it's still running and it came up as RAM error 17. So that's what that means. So there is a problem with one of the RAM. I wonder if they just need to be reseated. Let me turn it off and reseat the chips and just see if that doesn't do anything. So all I'm going to do is, I'll show you how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to loosely take a little flathead screwdriver, just pop them out a little bit and shove them back in, and we'll see if that does anything. Just want to see if it goes back to that on the screen here again, if it says, gives you a RAM error code or not. This board still has the original battery holder on it, so that needs to get replaced as well. But okay, let me go grab a screwdriver real quick and we'll pop those out and put them back in and see what happens. Okay, it's all powered down and everything. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each one of these chips. I'm going to lightly go in here with the screwdriver, just very lightly. Don't want to nick the board underneath them or anything like that. Just going to twist the screwdriver a little bit to bring it out a little bit, the chip. On both sides. And I'm going to go ahead and reseat the chip. I'm going to do that to every one of these. Then we'll turn it back on and see if it does anything or not. All right, let's power it back on and see if it does anything different. Probably not. It's still flashing the 117. I don't think it would have to do with the coin door not being hooked up. The switch is inside the coin door. I gotta see what that code is. But we're back to the rug pattern again. Just curious to see if the screen's gonna come up and say what it is again, because it only did it that one time. Yeah, let me just try to research and figure out what's wrong with it. Okay, we are up to here, which means I do not have my switches hooked up for the coin door, so I'm gonna have to like temporarily plug that in or do whatever. So what the problem was is it was reading 117, which means this is bank 1, this is bank 2, this is bank 3 of the RAM. Okay, so basically this starts number 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So this was the bad one, which was 17 because it was blinking 117. So that's bank 1, 7th one down. This little resistor thingy, whatever the hell that is in there, was not in correctly. It wasn't touching one of the legs. I don't know why they use that. This is definitely a different chip number than some of these other ones. So, and all these chips are kind of dirty looking. I need to see about replacing all these, I think. I don't know if maybe the socket should be changed as well, but there's definitely a lot of black on them. When I pull the chips out, you can see that somebody had cleaned the legs, so the corrosion is off the legs themselves, but it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to just replace these sockets and all these chips. But that was the culprit right there. I had turned it back on one time, and then it was reading 335, which was 35, which is 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, which was this one here. I swapped this chip with this chip down here, because these two chips, this one's a new one, that one's an old one. I just swapped them to see what would happen. That error went away. Then it went back to 117. I went back down to here. I popped this one completely out and then put it back in, and now it's working. It's stuck in the bookkeeping totals, which means that I need to get those switches hooked up for the coin door, for the credit switch and all that. So let me go see where that is, and if we can hook that up, and if we can get bubbles at least on this screen. There's definitely a little bit of screen issues going on here, and that could all just be adjustments, but we do have a blue line right there, and my convergence is off on the green here. Obviously my red must be up too high because this is kind of pink looking. That should be white, but let me go grab that and let's go from there. Okay, I don't seem to have that switch. I could have it, I just might not currently have it where all the other parts are. Keep in mind, everything in this basement was disrupted and moved, so I gotta look around. If I don't have it, I might have to pull it out of the Stargate cabinet and then replace it, find another one. What I'm doing right now is, this is the harness for the coin door. Putting some electrical tape on the light wires, because I don't want these wires to arc out and then, you know, blow a fuse or something like that. So I'm just taping them off to keep the wire that has voltage from hitting any other wires or hitting each other or anything along those lines, so we don't short something out. And we're going to plug this in, and hopefully we could just touch the wires together, because this harness is from Golden Age Arcade and it is labeled. He did label it, so we want to look for switch panel. Right here we have audio up and down, so if we touch these two, it should take the volume up and down. Then we have here high score reset, and then we have advanced. And on the screen here, it's saying high score table reset, bookkeeping totals cleared, and then factory settings restored. So I don't know which one of these buttons I have to hit. Probably advanced would be my guess. So let me plug this harness in. In. Let me see what happens here. Get my leg out of the way. The screen is green, black level's up too. Needs to be turned down. Okay, let's go to advanced settings here and see what happens if I touch these two wires. Nothing on those two. Okay, now we went to a pink screen. Rug pattern. Now it's blinking 111, which is 11. Why is it doing that? Just want to see if this stupid game works. Okay, what do we say here now? See, now it's saying RAM error 11. Which is the top one, and once again it has another one of those yellow little capacitor things on there. Let me turn it off and back on and just see if it clears that up or not. Definitely have a RAM issue though. Like I said, I think those sockets and everything really need to be changed. See, yeah, it's blinking 111. So that is definitely chip number 11. All of a sudden, when I touch these two wires together, now it's saying chip number 11. So let me turn it off. Let's come over here. Let's look at chip number 11 now. See what's going on with that one. Chip number 11's right here. These are just set in there. They're not even soldered onto the legs of the chips. I know my arm's in the way. Okay, this one is soldered on. I don't know if you could see or not. Probably not with the light. But this chip doesn't look too bad. But you could definitely see there is definitely a bunch of corrosion on it. They definitely have been sanded down, cleaned up. So let's put this back in. Got to make sure we put it in the right direction. Okay, let's turn it back on. See if anything else happens differently. Nope, still blinking 111. Okay, let me do a little bit more investigating and I'll come back. Oh, initial test RAM error 11. Okay, that popped up quickly that time, but now it's not flashing on the screen. Or yeah, on the little LED screen on the thing. So no longer is it saying 11. There it goes. 11. That time I only did it twice. Okay, 111. Okay, so it is saying number 11. And I think this is just these sockets and everything are trash. They need to be fixed. Let me mess with it a little bit more and I'll come back. Okay, I got it to come up. Now, had to push really hard on that chip number 11. I really had to push it in while the game was powered on. I kind of pushed it in real hard and wiggled it back and forth. And I got it to come up. So all those sockets and chips need to be replaced. There's no doubt about it. They're just gonna fail. As soon as I put the game together, we're gonna have the same issue. Monitor doesn't look too horrible. Obviously I have done no adjustments to it yet. It was adjusted for whatever game was prior in this cabinet, which I don't remember what it was, but we do have bubbles up on the screen, which is awesome. Let's turn it off and back on, see if it goes back to that RAM error 11. If it does, I'll push on it again and show you what I did. Okay, let's power it back on, see what it does. We got our rug pattern, nothing on the LED screen yet. Shows a 0, which is a good sign. Okay, we're stuck in that mode now. So now I gotta get my test switch wires, touch the two together, and it should go to the screen that was just up there. So let's touch our wires together here real quick, see what happens. Okay, there we go, we're up to bubbles. Okay, so yep, that's our problem. It's not a huge deal. I'm debating on if I want to change all those sockets and chips myself or just send it out and have somebody else do it. I'll see if I can get the chips or not. I'm sure you can. Just don't know if I feel like doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 32 sockets or not on that board. That's a lot of work, especially for somebody that doesn't do it all the time. I do have a desoldering gun and stuff like that, but I don't know if it's worth me risking, burning out a trace or something like that. But what we could do though is, let me mess with the screen a little bit, see if I can dial it in a little bit. Definitely have a little bit of convergence issue up here. It's got a little bit of like a pinkish hue, but not too worried about that. Monitor is obviously sitting sideways right now. But what I can do now is see if I can adjust the screen a little bit. We'll see what it looks like. And then on the next video, we'll just put the whole game together. We'll get it working, get the control panel, everything, make sure everything works before I send this board out, if I do send it out. And because I know that if I do send it out, I want to make sure that it's only that board and we don't have a soundboard issue or anything along those lines. Also to make sure the controls work, make sure nothing's wrong with that board. But I'm happy that it is up and working, and I'm happy that I know what it is, But I'm gonna say it's the sockets more than the chips. Obviously the chips have been cleaned, and I'm sure they're weak from being heat over the years and years. But we'll see. Oh, see, just went into a rug pattern on its own. Now it's flashing 1. Let's see here, 117. We're back to 117. So yeah, we gotta definitely get this fixed. So let's go down to 7 here and see if I wiggle it back and forth if anything happens. Pushing on it pretty hard. Oh, now it's flashing something different. Now it's flashing 114. 11, 12, 13, 14. So now it's flashing to this one. Now it's flashing 117 again. So you can obviously clearly see. So what happened was the guy I bought this from got it working on the test bench. And then, you know, I bought it a year ago. And obviously it sat, so it could have corroded more. You know, now it's flashing 112. So I'm basically just chasing this problem from one socket to the other. So now 112 is right here. Now it's saying 114 again. So yeah, it's just an issue with the sockets. They need to be replaced. So maybe I won't be putting it back together yet. I would like to get it to play at least, so I know that nothing else is damaged, or maybe I just send all the boards out and just have them checked. One, two. When I push on that one, then it says 114. Crazy. Let's turn it off and back on one more time just to see. Well, at least we know it's going to work. It's not a huge issue. These are famous for all those chips going bad. I had all mine in Joust. I had all those replaced, and all the ones in Sinistar I believe were replaced as well. Yep, still flashing 114. Let me just try pushing on it again. 11, 12, 13, 14. It's this one right here. Now it's saying 7. Now it's saying 2. So basically I get one to connect, and then it throws another one off. That's all it is. And I'm sure I could probably spray some deoxit in here in these sockets, but you know, how long is that going to last? I like to try to get my games as reliable as possible, so I don't have to deal with a bunch of games that go down. See, I wiggled 7 again. Now it's saying test failure 17. There you go. I literally just twisted that socket a little bit, or the chip on there a little bit, so now I know if I go back to here, touch these two wires together, should go back into the bubble screen, or back to a rug pattern, because now it's throwing the code again. 117 again. Let me try swapping that for a different one, and I'll come back. Okay, I got it to come back up to the screen again. What I did was I swapped 17 for number 35. Number 35 had a new chip in it, but that's still not gonna, it's still gonna end up doing it again. But let's touch the two wires together again and see what happens. See if it goes into an error. Okay, it's back onto the bubble screen. So who knows how long that will last, but I did swap the two chips around, and I'm sure it'll probably go back into the rug pattern and throw another code. I'm just curious if, like, once that chip starts heating up, if that's what the problem is. But let me try to adjust the screen before it goes out again. Okay, I got it pretty good adjusted. It's gonna need more, but I need to get it in the cabinet, need to get it flipped. a little dark on the top. It definitely needs a little convergence or degaussing wand done to it. But I'm going to wait until I get it upright and get it in the cabinet. But I don't think that the monitor is going to need to be rebuilt right now. Somebody had already changed all the pots on it and everything. So hopefully that should be good to go. It has been running now for about 15 minutes. The picture doesn't look real good on the camera, but it definitely looks better in person. Plus I have the overhead lights on above it, so that's kind of washing out the screen a little bit. So that's where we're at with this project. We'll stop it here. Next video will be putting the monitor in the cabinet. Trying to think, maybe I should just do that now. I don't know. No, I'll do it on the next video. We'll get the monitor in the cabinet and see if I can find the parts for the control panel or the coin door, the buttons that I need and stuff like that. And we'll get all that wrapped up so that then I can figure out what I'm gonna do with this board, if I want to send this board out or not, or fix it myself. I'm just not sure. But as you can clearly tell, that's definitely the problem, is those chips, which is good. Hoping that's the only problem, but hopefully we'll be able to maybe get this thing up and running on the next video. Try the controls, make sure the joystick works, the buttons work and all that, so that we know that we don't have any other issues. And then possibly, like I said before, if I have to send it out, I'll just send out this board. I'm on the fence if I want to fix those or not. So, all right guys, that's going to end this video, part 14. It is working, has a few issues, but nothing that we can't work through and fix. So, all right guys, I really appreciate you watching. Please like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you guys later.